everybody. So in this video, we're actually chipping at our lower lot. A lot of you guys know that we love rosemary. It does super well for us. Super drought tolerant, super hardy plant. But what I noticed in a lot of the cans from the big box stores is they actually have 3 plugs in every can. And they sell each can for about 10 bucks. And so I'm actually taking this saw and I'm sawing apart all 3 of the plugs so that I can get 3 plants out of every plug. So it's about $3 now for every plant. And so far, they're doing super well. We have a really large space to cover, so by doing this little trick, we're actually able to cover a lot of space for a lot less money. And luckily, the ground squirrels and the gophers totally leave our rosemary alone, so I don't have to make any cages or anything for when I'm planting these rosemaries. Did a little planting off camera, and the one I'm about to water is a Jerusalem sage, which is a super drought tolerant yellow beautiful sage. And to my left is a cardboard palm, which is actually a cycad, but it's going to be a beautiful focal point in front of all those Jerusalem sages. I'm just watering in all of the rosemary that I just planted. Even though it's been pretty wet out here, you gotta water them just to settle that root ball. Air pockets will really kill your plant. Here's another one of them Jerusalem sages that I'm watering in, beautiful yellow. And then these I actually planted off camera. They're actually a bird of paradise. They're like a really beautiful desert plant, really like fine leaves. But with all the rain that we had, they actually got pulled out by a lot of the water. You can see in the camera, this water like ditch that was created pulled them out. So I had to replant them. Now I'm watering them back in. All right, so this is where I did the cardboard palm and then the 3 Jerusalem sages. But my idea is, I'm thinking eventually we want to do like a little wall here. So this could be kind of parking because we don't have any parking at the top of the hill. So then we'll make a little walkway here. You'll be first greeted by this little vignette with the cardboard palm. And as you go up, eventually you want to hopefully put a pool up there or something. So I want to do a walkway up there, but I want this little side path to go to the gazebo. So we'll pretend, you know, we're walking. And I have a drift of rosemary that you obviously can't see because all these weeds, but it essentially goes like whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-woo all the way up there. So here's 1, 2, 3. So the path is kind of, actually, I've walked along this so much that I've kind of trampled where I want the path to go. So I'm going to put the agave there, which will give it definitely 2.5 to grow without going into the walkway. But then, as you can see, I spaced out all these little lavenders, which are just going to explode with like beautiful purple color under that icy blue. I think it's going to be super dramatic, and it'll be a nice kind of boom, like pop of color. And then you'll get that one little yellow Jerusalem sage, one more there, and then this really pretty gazebo with the bougainvillea on it. So yeah, I'm gonna plant up this one probably first, and plant around it. Some of the gophers do attack my lavender, so unfortunately I have to make a ton of tiny little cages for these. So I'm gonna do that first, get it out of the way, and then we'll start planting. And then I'm not even gonna weed all this. I think I'm just going to smother it with mulch. Okay, here we go. So for those of you who are like, wait, he's not weeding, actually it's a thing. I've done it, I've tested it, it works. So when you have a bare piece of land, bacteria dominates the soil, and weeds love bacteria-rich soil. When you have plants in the ground and mulch over the soil, fungi is a dominant situation in the soil, and so weeds do not like fungi-rich soil. So when you add mulch to the soil, it actually deters weeds from growing. So mulch, 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 it actually is a beautiful, miraculous situation. And it helps retain a lot of moisture so you don't have to water as much. The plants are way happier because it regulates temperature and moisture.
I'm gonna throw a little bit of this palm cactus and citrus mix in it just to facilitate a little bit of drainage. Our soil it's kind of weird. It does have a good amount of clay content in it, so I just want it to be nice and free draining. So just a little bit of this.
So I'm using my little shovel here. It's about 4 feet or so. And each lavender grows about 3 to 4 feet. So I'm trying to space them really roughly about 4 feet apart so that each one will probably touch each other. Like I said, super rough. This variety is a Spanish variety lavender, and we do have some up in our top of our property, and they love it there. And I swear they're like 3 to 4 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide, so they're gonna love it here. For this lower lot, I'm really trying to do things that we probably have to water for maybe 6 months, maybe max a year, that really will require very little, if not any water, because this is so far from the house. This really needs to be a drought tolerant area because I don't want to spend a lot of money or resources watering this. Especially in California where we have these drought situations, I want to be able to have a landscape that just survives on its own whenever there are periods of drought. Joe and I are talking about figuring out a situation where we can collect a lot of this rain that we're getting so that if we do have any periods of long drought, we can still have water that we can utilize for our landscape. Joe and I have been brainstorming for ways that we can capture large amounts of water, especially these last 2 years. We've got so much water, more water than California has seen in a long time. But even on a regular basis, we would love to capture way more water to be more self-sufficient so that we don't have to rely on city water. But all of these drought-tolerant species will be super happy with little water.
Okay, first little vignette, cardboard palm, Jerusalem sage. We're gonna walk up here, and then you can see the agave there, and then all of the lavender. But I kind of wanted to continue it on the future walkway, which would be this. This is the little path. I kind of wanted to bump it over to feel natural and not just so how do you call it? Like strategic, I guess. Just kind of like a little bit of a, I feel like it makes it look a little bit more natural when it kind of overlaps your walkways when something from this side goes to that side. Makes it more cohesive and not so blocky.
I'm just kind of spraying out where I feel like a walkway should be so that I can visualize it a little bit better. Having all these weeds really does impair my vision, so the spray paint kind of delineates where I feel things should be. Just starting to plant the lavender with all the cages, which is super annoying, but it has to be done because a lot of the gophers and ground squirrels really do mess up with a lot of the things that I plant. So even though it's annoying, I make cages around everything so that I know that it is protected and that it has a good future. Because we have been getting so much rain, this is the perfect time to plant anything and everything. Plus, I don't have to worry about immediately putting these things on drip because I know that they're getting water and things are loving it right now because the soil is so moist. And I'm gonna mulch this so the moisture is just gonna stick in there for longer. So this is all of the rain that is still coming through all the groundwater. So we have these culverts and these diversion channels on our property. So why wouldn't I use this to water everything? Hey, free water. So last year during brush clearance, we had a bunch of stuff that was cleared out that the guys chipped. And so instead of hauling it away, we asked that they would just leave it there. So we have this amazing pile of just native brush that was chipped. So this is beautiful mulch that I'm using. It's a bit of work, but it's so worth it. I was being a little strategic. I just didn't want to dump it on all the new plants that I planted. I was just taking my time to spread it around each item because they're such small plants. I didn't want to just smother them. Yes, it took more time, but I feel like the plants loved it a little bit better. I can't tell you how satisfying it was, though, to watch the weeds just get buried by this mulch. It's so nice to see, like, where you just planted everything. It's so nice and clean. I love mulch. And I actually found a really cool company called Chip Drop. No sponsorship, but if you just sign up with them, they will deliver any kind of trees that they've done in the area that they've cut down and chipped and deliver it to your doorstep. I can't tell you how excited I am for free mulch. Plus, I heard a lot of the mulch that is sold at the big box stores is actually just construction material that's been chipped. So the awesome thing about this chip drop is that it's actual trees and leaves and everything that'll just super amplify your soil because it's actually trees and leaves and not just benign materials. So Joe set up one of our little party igloos right here with some drinks so that whenever we finish a project, we would have something to drink. So definitely partaking with that. Cheers. So here it is, all the nice, beautiful lavender planted, our beautiful agave planted, and I feel like it's just gonna look so pretty once it starts stooling out. This is gonna be a massive lavender field with just beautiful purple blooms, and I'm so excited to see it when it actually stools out. And our cute little gazebo right there with the beautiful bougainvillea. Oh, it's going to be so pretty. Just have to wait for everything to grow. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.